Hello there, greetings and a very warm welcome to the channel. The sun is hiding and the magpie is casting. Coming to you guys right now with a live 1 vs 1 battle featuring spawning in the south, who lives in a barracks under the sea. Why, it's SpongeBob, playing as the United States forces. And spawning in the north, it's going to be the Wermacht forces of level 5 GentleFox. So, the map for our delectation today is going to be Faymonville Approach. Faymonville Approach. It's F-A-Y, yeah, Faymonville Approach. Yep, I think it's not been too long since I cast a game on this map. Ever popular on the matchmaking ladder, of course. One of the least distinguished maps. It's one of the more, like, in inverted commas, normalized maps. A lot of your typical builds and playstyles will function very well on this map, so it's one that most players feel comfortable on. And therefore tends to attract a smaller portion of vetoes, I guess. SpongeBob's gone ahead and chosen his commander straight away. He's gone for the Airborne Company. He's going to have access to the Pathfinders, the paradrops of various weapons, the paratroopers, who I'm actually rather convinced about. They're pretty sweet. And the P-47 Rocket Strike. This is one of the stronger United States commanders. Now, I don't necessarily mean strong insofar as it's just better than any other commanders or give you an advantage, but it's very stylistically strong and tends to feel very different to play with. Almost like another faction. It's like a heavily modified strain of the American forces. So, GentleFox has also chosen his commander off the bat, and it's one which I've not seen used for a long time, but probably overall my favourite commander for the Wermacht forces, the most general commander, a good all-rounder that's going to serve you well in almost any situation. He has, of course, gone for the Spearhead Doctrine, so, there we go. Not often I get to see this one on the channel. I think it's just a little bit too normal, a bit too general for most high-level players. But GentleFox here is going to be breaking it out. Of course, you get access to the mortar half-track. Now, let's not forget, this is not just a very mobile mortar squad. This also has access for like just 30 or 45 munitions to the incendiary round. So it's almost like 2 for 1. You get a sweet, protected, very mobile mortar squad with smoke launchers, because of course Panzer Tactician is in this commander. Who can also call in incendiary strikes, or an incendiary barrage at least, and it's pretty accurate, so I would say it's almost as good as having an incendiary strike ability somewhere on the commander. You also get access to the reconnaissance overflight, who I wouldn't play a Wermacht commander without. I just find it too useful, too crucial, I'm too used to having it. It's super good. I just really like to know where my opponent is, what their tech choices are, just things like that are super useful. And also it can help you for putting down some strikes and things like that. Speaking of strikes, you get the fragmentation bombing run. Costs, it's a little munitions heavy and can feel underwhelming if you miss, but of course if you tag infantry squads, it just instantly devastates them, and if you manage to tag every single infantry model in the squad, then you'll blast them all. It's pretty vicious stuff. And finally, of course, you have that Tiger tank at 13 command points, the late game insurance. Just to help you have something extra heavy to play with in the late game, and I think we've all realised by now the Tiger's pretty good, so that's useful. Our initial scuffles are underway. If we take a look at the build orders here, we've got a reasonably symmetrical list of units so far. 3 of Riflemen versus 3 of Grenadiers so far. There's an MG42 propping up the Wermacht forces as well. SpongeBob at the moment floating 340 manpower. Hasn't yet committed to an additional unit and or tech choice. That MG42 gets deployed into a nice building. That's going to force back a squad of Riflemen. Pioneers here in support, who are probably going to start grabbing a point. But in the north of the map, it's a different story. The Riflemen, of course, very potent at this stage, and indeed all, but particularly at this stage in the game. They're gonna use their 5 men, their Garans, their advanced training, accuracy, rate of fire. They're just a really good frontline infantry squad, and they're using that to their advantage, beating back these Grenadiers and taking some points very close to the Wermacht player's base. Now, if you look at the minimap, there's a breakaway squad of Wermacht units there. I'll just click down there just now. Whoop. They're pioneers. Oh, they are in fact suppressed at the moment. I wonder what that's by. Oh, they've stumbled into range of the base defences for an instant, I believe. So they're going to probably have to fall back. Those Riflemen would be more than enough to clean them up. I thought for a second they might be able to grab that cut-off point, which would be very frustrating for the American player, but that's not going to be the case here. And just pouring myself a cup of tea here. A pineapple comes down onto that Grenadier squad. Early grenade research here for the American player. I'd say that's pretty atypical as well, and I wonder if that's something which he uses part and parcel with the fact that he's gone for the airborne commander. Maybe he's just used to playing an aggressive style, using pineapples, Riflemen in the early, and then moving into paratroopers when they're available. And I wonder if that's just a style that SpongeBob here is pretty used to. Time will tell. There's a little moment of quiet here, just a quick moment, so I'll crack the tack, and you can see the situation here with regards to territory and map control. It seems to me like the Axis have slightly got the better end of the bargain. controlling pretty much even Stevens, except that they've got this middle victory point. This northern point is, you know, of little consequence this early in the game, and in any case, there are some grenadiers capturing that right now. So that's a nice pickup for the American player, but not super consequential. Oh, that is a lovely cup of Silver Needle Jasmine there. Oof, perfect. Just a touch too hot though. I don't know why I always tell you guys about my tea. It's like everyone finds tea as interesting as me. I don't think so. Anyway. Grenadiers are going to get into a good position. They're going to start harassing these riflemen at range, and that's probably a fight they're going to take. If you look at the relative HPs of the 2 units, riflemen here in mid going to make a cap, and I didn't see how this MG got displaced, but displaced it has been, and that's a little annoying for the it's a little annoying for the Wermacht player. At this stage in the game, when you look at the forces involved, you know, he's pretty much just got straightforward pushing infantry units, and the American player can beat all of those with his own equivalents in any kind of a head-on fight. So he's basically going to be relying on the MG42 to try and take any kind of a fight as GentleFox, and when that's been forced back, there's a window here for the American player to make some advantage. Now, GentleFox is ameliorating this bubble, this window of advantage, to some extent through this LMG42 upgrade, and that is actually enabling him to push these riflemen. I think it would be a fair fight if the riflemen were in any kind of cover or closer, but at that range and in the open, those riflemen are going to lose a couple of men and be forced back. But pushing on the left is SpongeBob now, changing his attention and focusing over here. He can drop in the 50 cal. Oh, and he just now has, so I wonder where he's calling that one in. Let's have a looky here. So yeah, he's going to airdrop in a 50 cal. I'm just looking like where would be a safe spot for that to drop. It costs 260 manpower. Oh wow, I thought that would cost munitions for sure. Wow. Okay, so it's dropped in here. That's a nice position. So he doesn't, of course, he doesn't have to get the lieutenant to have access to that now. He's got the captain, and he's going to be grabbing 50 cals from the paratroop drops. I didn't realise it cost 260 manpower though. That seems like quite a heavy cost. That seems like, because it doesn't come with any men. You have to pick that up and then reinforce the squads.
We have a new sniper under our command.
But I suppose it is quite versatile, so they have to. I think 200 manpower would be a fair cost. 260 seems quite a lot. Anyway, the Major. Yeah, reporting. He's just coming on in here. He's obviously got Predator camo, which is why he looks quite transparent there. And he's going to be making his way onto the front. Of course, the Major, a sniper, ever a potent choice against the American forces. They don't really get any counters for some time. This 50 cal has now been manned and is ready to rock. That it's going to start doing, actually, getting into position behind this wall. Going to start hooning on the MG42. That's a fight the 50 cal will win. Its DPS is superior. And I believe that since they're both in heavy cover, that means that the 50 cal will win. Yep, there goes the MG42. That's going to be forced back. These grenadiers here are precariously low health, but they're actually chewing through these riflemen. Oh, I can hear someone's had a grenade thrown at them somewhere on the map. Was that over here? Yeah, I believe that was here. Maybe? No, that's too far for a grenade to be thrown. I don't know. I heard someone yelling about a grenade. But, anyway, and I don't know. At the moment, it seems like neither team really taking a firm upper hand. I mean, arguably, if you look at the scoreline, GentleFox is just about ahead, but I don't know. It's pretty close out there. It's pretty close. I like GentleFox's composition probably slightly more than SpongeBob's, but the addition of the light tank means that I would now favour SpongeBob. So he's going for a Stuart, making use of his captain tech there, and the 50 cal also in a nice building actually. So I take it back actually. Looking at the map and this change of positions, also the incoming Stuart makes me think. Actually, it's SpongeBob with the edge. Let's take a look at the teching here for the Axis player. So we do not yet have Battle Phase 2 or any kind of a support armor company. Sorry, a support armor core. Is that what it's called? Yeah, I think so. For the Wermacht player, so there's no danger of Panzer, Ostwind, or anything like that coming out anytime soon. No Stugs, nothing like that. The Major is going to start capping off this captain here. So right now, clearly, I think things are actually going to favour the American player. I think there's going to be a few minutes of dominance here, as this Stuart's going to be able to push the Axis player around. The addition of a pack gun is timely, but it will only be able to protect a small area of the map, and its relative immobility compared to the Stuart means that Stuart's going to be able to command the field reasonably well, as long as the American player doesn't sort of commit it into a bad fight where it gets Panzer-Schrecked and then hit by the pack gun.
New anti-tank gun has arrived.
So, yeah, here comes that anti-tank gun. Coming out with very good timing, though. The Stuart just now itself rolling onto the field. So, doing his best to minimise the window. The sniper here is exposed, and the Stuart's going to go straight for him. No fear here. And this is what I mean. This could be a bad fight. If a Panzerfaust comes down, this pack gun's going to be in a great position. The Panzerfaust does come down. There goes the engine. The pack gun takes its first shot, and there's going to be a second for sure. And that's going to be the end of the Stuart. And I feel like that was incredibly ambitious from SpongeBob to dive after that sniper. Incredibly ambitious. Wow. I mean, that's like the one way you could possibly lose that Stuart and all the advantage it was going to provide. So I have to question the decision-making there from the American player. Yes, seeing a sniper is very tempting, And you know, he did appear to be in the open, and you know, but GentleFox, you know, has to have another unit on the field somewhere, and you could see the grenadiers anyway. So you knew you were going to get Panzerfausted chasing. You knew you'd be deep in enemy territory. Best case scenario, you get Panzerfausted, get that sniper, and then limp on out intact. But that's long odds. You have to assume if you're getting Panzerfausted on the doorstep of your opponent's base, you're probably going to lose to something, even if it's just like the other grenadier squads coming in and clusterfausting you. You know, like, I don't know. That just seems like quite the overextension there. Got a little bit carried away with himself there, did SpongeBob. An overextension, but it was only a light tank, not the end of the world. 70 fuel, and you know what? I don't know how much manpower. It is. Oops, wrong one. It is. Stuart, 240 manpower. Damn, those things are cheap for like a really good light tank. I think, in my personal opinion, the Stuart is the best light tank in the game, and it is. I thought it cost more than that, to be honest. I thought it was like, you know, 280 or 300 manpower. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, Pineapple was going to come down. Wait, was that a pineapple? I don't know. Or was that just a flame? Whoa! And SpongeBob is gonna choose that moment to unplug his internet, and that is gonna be game. Wow, apparently losing a squad of riflemen and losing that Stuart, too much for SpongeBob to take. Obviously, that was an incredibly hasty GG, and this game is far from decided. So I think SpongeBob there with a snap GG, probably a little flustered, a little frustrated, as I have a sip of my tea. Happens to us all at some point or other. I've been guilty of leaving many games too early when you just think to yourself, you know what, no, I've just had the worst of luck this game and I'm out. I'm going to roll the dice and start again because this has not been a good game for me. But, you know, if you do that, you never learn how to fight from behind, and that is the key skill in any RTS. Or, you know, it's like one of the key skills anyway. So, a very short cast there, over in 11 minutes. I'll be hopping into another game immediately. I've got a nice piping hot pot of jasmine here, which I'm going to put to good use casting. And, so stay tuned. And, of course, I wish you all a very Merry Christmas. I hope you all enjoy the holiday festivities. And, yes, as I myself shall be doing. But yeah, as I say, stay tuned. Another cast coming very soon.